Okay, all right. I will switch off the video. That will be better. Okay, all right. So let's start. I will discuss for next 15 minutes basics of computer security. So next 3 lectures, 2 more lectures, we'll focus on the basics and then we'll pick up the speed and get more into real stuff. Okay. Now basics are very important for us to have understanding of what security is. Okay, and then we can apply these concepts to cyber security. All right. Okay, contents of course I have taken from many places. Some of these are here. Okay, some statistics before we start, because all we want to emphasize is to know why cyber security is so important. Okay, so this statistics, which is quite recent, maybe last year's statistics, says that a member of public or a citizen or a person is hacked every 39 seconds. Every 39 seconds, one person is hacked. Okay. Device, there are millions of devices, right? And device is hacked in less than 2 minutes. You know, if a cyber criminal wants to hack a device, then it can do so in about 2 minutes. So ransomware attack, third one, if you see, ransomware attack is basically a attack on individuals, high-end individual or high net worth individuals, rich people, and corporations of any kind, right? These attacks happen primarily with the aim of taking ransom money or money. Okay, so what happens is that intruder or cyber criminal or cyber criminal organizations get into a system, you know, get all the data, then encrypt the data and disable the systems. Okay, then and then they ask money to individual or the corporate, such that reverse things, that is uh, decryption can be done or systems can be made to run normally, right? So every 40 seconds one such thing happens, and then this is an organized crime. Okay, let's assume that if you are running a small business or shop and you are millionaire and a lot of your stuff is available on your personal PC or a laptop, and that laptop is totally hacked and encrypted. Now you may have hundreds of things in that, right? And you have not backed up your system anywhere, then you will have to pay ransomware or ransom money, okay, to cyber criminals. So this attack is called ransomware attack. So, okay, and the viruses are being developed every day, and this number is huge. 250,000 viruses every day comes to universe. Okay, and these viruses are different nature. Okay, some may be similar, some may be derived from others, and so on, and all are trying to get into your system. Okay, all right, and this so there is obviously there's an industry working behind creating viruses, and of course there is an industry that's trying to protect you from these viruses, right? And there's a continuous fight that happens, right? Okay, most of the time the people who create viruses are ahead in technology and even algorithmically. I mean, they use better technologies and better systems to attack. Okay, once these attacks are known, then there is a reaction from this, cyber security companies, right, to protect a common user or companies around it, and it's a huge industry. Okay? And there's a lot of money is being lost by these attacks. Like, you know, every person on this earth loses about $123 every 6 months from malware attack. Fixing malware attack. If the malware attack happens, then it needs to be fixed, right? Uh, every person pays about $441 to cybercrime and $271 paying ransom to cyber criminals. Okay, so every person on an average pays around, close to $800, more than $800, $850 or something, just for taking care of one's app or company from these cyber criminals. Okay, and this number of cyber frauds is just increasing. This is only for one company. Okay, yeah, one set of industries like UK banks. So there may be, overall, if you look at number of cyber crimes happening all the world, is very huge number. So what are the chances that you will be hacked in this year? Chances are 69%. Okay, a very good probability that you are already hacked. You may not come to know about it. Now, hacking doesn't mean that they will ask you money or encrypt your machine. They can use your CPU cycles. You have a laptop, and laptop is on all the time, and you have a beautiful CPU in it, and these are CPU cycles, which most of us don't use all the time. Okay, then cyber criminals can use this ideal CPU cycle that you have, or non-ideal also, because it can take more portion of your overall computing bandwidth, uh, to mint, very simple thing is a mint, cryptocurrency, crypto coins. And crypto coins, as you know, is minted, right, by cracking algorithms. And the cracking of algorithms requires a lot of computation cycles, right? And this computation cycle costs money. So why not use your laptop or your, for that matter, your security camera that also has CPU, because every device has CPU, or a computer attached, right? A microprocessor or something that does basic computation. So why not use that for free? Okay, that's exactly happening now. Okay, and then you look at some of the statistics. You know, what is the source of all this? Generation. I mean, where cyber criminals are active. What are those countries? Largely, it says that 80% of cyber crimes happens from Russia, China, and North Korea. Okay, second statistic is 77% of small businesses don't regularly back up their important data. Okay, now that's very important thing that you can suggest to your friends or parents or running company and based on a computer. Because everyone uses a computer for something or other, and the data is not backed up regularly, right? Then there you will have to pay, or person has to pay ransom money to cyber criminals. Okay, then 70% of the healthcare industry have been infected with malware. Now that's very interesting, right? So all the hospitals that you see that are somehow connected to internet, which almost everything is connected nowadays, 70% of these has been infected with malware. Okay, malware is nothing but something like virus or a worm or trojan or something like that. Basically, a malicious code. Okay, 73% of US citizens have fallen victim to some or other kind of cybercrime, and 64% companies have experienced web-based attack. Right, there's a say interface to a company in general is a website, right? And website is usually vulnerable if it's not properly designed. And then last statistic is 61% of malicious websites are genuine sites that have been compromised. So you go to a website and then it transfers a malicious component or malware to your laptop. Okay. Now this website you think is malicious website, but these are the normal genuine website created by you and me. But these websites have been infected, by cyber criminals. Okay, so the malicious website is there, and you click on some icon out there, and it will transfer uh, a malware to your laptop. Okay, any question? Any question to you? Any question you have? No? Yes? Please answer.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Please feel free to ask me question, right? And so we are doing this class online, and then online learning is going to stay. Uh, I use a lot of online resources for learning. Okay, so please, and very important for online learning is just focus. Just focus what is being taught. Each and every word, just listen carefully. Concentrate, and that's very important skill that you can develop. And ask questions. Okay, that will reduce your effort later on, right? Because you will grasp everything that's being taught. Okay, so today we'll look at few basic concepts. What is secure system and what is the difficulty to create a fully secure system? Before that, let's ask this question to you. Do you use any of these? Quora, Quora, I don't know. I don't use it. Facebook, of course, many of us use it. I use it. eBay, I don't use it, but some of you might have used it. Apple, I use. JP Morgan Chase, I don't have connect with this. Snapchat, I don't use, but some of you are using it because interesting concept. Google Plus, yes. Target is a company in US that sells all kind of stuff. They have stores, so I don't use it. Twitter, of course. UPS is a courier company. Some of us might have used it. I have used it. Mozilla, of course, is WebOS, a web browser, so we use it. Big Basket is grocery delivery, a company in India. Now we use all these, right? Some of these, and then all of these have suffered data breaches. We know that it's a public information. Every time there's a breach, we come to know about it, right? It means the data of all subscribers of that company, like Big Basket, they deliver vegetables and groceries, right? So my user ID, password is, and many other information, my address, I don't know what all has gone to cyber criminals, but these are the two important things that details about me, not only user ID, password, but a lot of other information about me, right? Where do I live, and what is my mobile number, and so on and so forth, is available to cyber criminals. Now, user ID is available in plain text, and passwords, most of the machines, I would think now almost all machines save passwords. What I mean to say is servers like Big Basket server, they save it in encrypted form, hashed form. Okay, we'll study cryptographic hash. So these hashes are not easily decoded, but once this file is available to cyber criminals of all users, they can do reverse engineering and can decode my hash password into kind of actual password. There are techniques available, right? Not with 100% certainty, but if my password is very simple, like my name is Ravi, and if I keep my password is Ravi123, that's cyber criminals will try to they will come to know in just 10 seconds, because they will try all this combination of my name, my surname, and then my son's name, my daughter's name, ABC, 123 123 4 5 6. These are the first file, because hashing and hashing algorithm is known to everyone. Okay, it's public information, so they will use this self-created uh, set of passwords and then hash it and then compare. Okay, so now this information is available about you. So what you have done since then? What action have you taken? Most of us just procrastinate. We don't do anything. We just postpone taking actions, right? So this data is available to cyber criminals. So what are we doing about it? Most of us think that it has not happened to me, so why it may not happen to me in future also, right? So this is a question that I ask. If thieves have keys of your house, what do you do? If your house keys have been stolen? Actually, by the way, most of the houses have stolen keys, which you may not know. Right, like the flat that I bought, keys were already with security guard, and it moved into one hand to another hand, and then I'm not surprised that key has been duplicated, in the process, right? And sometime or other, my house can be totally kind of ransacked, or theft may happen, right? So first thing you need to do when you develop security mindset, and if you buy a house and when you move in, first thing you will do is to change the lock anyway. So if you know that keys are available with cyber criminal, or sorry, with a criminal, what do? You change the lock. But have you changed the password? Have you changed the security related questions that come to you? You can also change the user ID. Have you done this? Or from one level of authentication, have you enabled two levels of authentication, not only password but also OTP? Okay. No, most of us have not done. So that's the reason all the data that's available from breaches can be reused. Cyber criminals also know that you are using the same password at multiple places. So if my password is Ravi123, so I will use it at multiple places, or 123 at the rate, then this will satisfy, or R should be capital. Now this thing, Ravi123, this symbol, okay, at the rate will satisfy password requirements of all accounts. And if I've used this in a big basket, then good possibility, because I want to remember it, I will use it at multiple other websites. Okay, cyber criminals know all this, right? So they will use this at Facebook, Google, wherever they can, and somewhere or other they can be possibly successful if you're not smart. Okay, so the theory here is that we need to develop a security mindset. But the question is, what is security mindset? So when you go to this friend's house, you look for certain things in that, right? You start observing what are the vulnerabilities. Okay, vulnerabilities could be that there is a ground floor house, it's just ground floor and first floor of independent house, and they don't have grills in windows, right? Windows are all glass windows, and people think that putting grill will reduce the beauty of the house. So glass is vulnerable, right? Anybody can cut glass in 5 minutes. So you start looking whether in the balcony there is a door, or can somebody reach from outside to the balcony very easily, just climb up, maybe somehow. Is our balconies are properly secured? Is there a back door into the house? Is there a security camera? All these things you start observing, and you look for what are the shortcomings or vulnerabilities, and what kind of threat it can pose. See, I have a beautiful house with very lot of vulnerabilities, but if it is in a very secure area inside a campus or somewhere, then chances of threats are very less. But somebody cannot, less chances of posing threats to me. But if it is in a middle of city or somewhere, you know, then there is a good chances, right? So we'll have to look for vulnerabilities and threats, and also we'll have to see attacks, right? Okay, so what kind of attacks a criminal can do? Okay, whether they it's easy to break lock or easy to break door or easy to break, remove grills or whatever, right? So it can do any kind of attack, and what can be lost. Okay, all right. So these threats are, you start looking for what kind of threats can be posed. The threats can be non-human threats also. For example, we are using, a typical car will use about 20 microprocessors. Okay, and this if system is not properly designed and a microprocessor malfunction, there is a possibility that cars brakes cannot be applied. Okay, if there's no brake, then it causes a major threat to lives of people, right? Or even the lives of the driver and people in the car. All right. So there can be new non-human threats like flood, earthquake, fire, failure of components, computers, communication, and power supply. Okay, all these which are not done by human beings, right? Purposely. And then human threats can be malicious. A computer operator or somebody can accidentally delete information. Okay, or spill coffee over server, or switch off a router by mistake. So all these are non-malicious kind of errors, uh, threats, but there can be malicious threats, right? And most of the threats that happen are kind of malicious, right? A computer can, somebody can inject virus and worm into your machine. Is a malicious threat and is deliberate threat. Okay. Now it could also be a random threat in the sense that viruses move in to hundreds of machines or millions of machines together, right? That it just goes out, and then here it is non-directed to a particular person or organization. Okay, while there can be attacks which are primarily designed for an individual or organization. Okay, so for example, companies, a cyber criminal company, cyber uh, company, which is basically criminal company, can research about an organization for a year. It can be full project plan. Okay, and they can assign 3 4 people in the team, and then they can work for a year before they break into an organization. So some of them can also go physically to office and then company's office and ask questions, become friendly with employees, and then they can tailgate and get inside. All kinds of things can happen. But these are called directed attack for an individual person, a known person, or an organization. Okay, all right. So it's done usually. Sources are cyber criminals. Of course, they want money and data. Of course, they sell for financial gains, right? Or it could be some individual for hobby, for fun, or for some political reason, right? I mean, somebody may want to send information, some kind of malicious information about the prime minister of the country to millions of people. Okay, or they don't like anything in society and they may want to just let everyone know about it, so they can do many harms, right? And then there are whole nations or countries, like we have seen the name of China, North Korea, Russia. Of course, a lot of attacks originate from there, but we don't know. But maybe now add to this some other some more nations, right? Where people are smart and capable of doing all these attacks, right? So here the whole attacks originate from country and is sponsored by the state. Okay. Now the wars are hybrid wars nowadays, right? So the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine is a hybrid war. The war is happening also in cyberspace. Okay. So for example, one country may want to disrupt power supply of another country. Okay, because power stations are all controlled by microprocessors, or they are all internet connected, right? The national electricity grid is all controlled by computers, right? So if somebody can do cyber attack, then all these disruptions can happen, right? Okay, and you go through please these attacks that happened. One of the attacks happened in India is one nuclear power plant. Cyber criminals could hack it. So uh, essentially what I want to say is that cyber terrorism is on increase, and then countries and companies need to work to protect themselves. Okay, of course it happens because of they can financial identity thefts, they can social security identity theft or medical identity thefts. So basically cyber criminals may want to get all the information about an individual and company, okay, which may include bank details, credit card numbers, residential address, mobile phone number, social security or PAN card number, and so on and so forth, right? So where does it happen? How this all data is leaked? By breaches. Somebody can, cyber criminal can get into big basket and they will take out all the data from databases, right? Unsecured browsing. So we do, for example, we go to a website and then website collects a lot of information about it because we are not doing HTTPS, we are doing only HTTP. Okay, dark web marketplaces, all this data is available. Malware can send your data. Phishing and spam attacks can happen, that we'll study later. Wi-Fi, if your Wi-Fi is not secure, it can be hacked. Mobile phone theft can happen. By the way, mobile phone is more complex computer than your laptop. Okay, with almost like 30 to 40 million lines of code, and it has OS which is as powerful OS as that in your laptop. So lot of thefts can happen from your mobile phone. Okay, and one of the most advanced threat is called APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. Okay, now I told you about the project plan cyber criminals make. So this is APT. You have 5-6 people in an organization or even more, a team, and team works on different aspects of hacking a company. Say for example, you take up example of BB. They will be given 12 months time or sometimes more than that, and then they will collect all the information, and then plan the activity, and finally they will use all kind of tools, all kind of methods, and there will be of course funding for this, and then they will use cyber criminals, hackers also from outside. So cyber criminals are available on rent, so you can rent cyber criminals if you want. Okay, and then attacks can happen from multiple places on the organization. Okay, please go through these APT examples by yourself. Like in 2008, large oil companies were targeted and the data was collected, and the result was that you know so it may have effect on their market or whatever. I mean, basically they got a lot of information, what they are doing, how they are doing, and then this inside information about a company could be sold. Okay, companies have been attacked very regularly, right? Google is, or Apple or Microsoft, for that they have something, right? They have some IPRs, intellectual property components, right? And it requires billions of dollars to develop that, right? Now companies can attack, cyber attack, some cyber companies can, criminal companies can attack those technology companies and try to steal that information, right? Or those algorithms or all those important whatever for example, methods and, process, procedures, etc. Okay. And of course, they do industrial infrastructure attacks can be done for disruption purposes, right? Like there has been blackout in our neighboring country some time back, right? For 2 days, Pakistan, there was a, when the whole national grid failed, power plants failed, and they are of course blaming some cyber criminal could have done this. God knows what is the real reason, right? So we can see the threat is vulnerability is this. For example, this is it's water, and this is a small wall, and this if there is a crack, then this is a vulnerability. And the threat is that, the threat is computing system, threat to a computation set of circumstances that has potential to cause harm. Now this is posing a threat. This vulnerability is posing a threat. If water level goes up, then water may go out, right? So this is a threat. Okay, so I will skip. Okay, all right. So these things we have already studied. The threat actors or cyber criminals exploit vulnerabilities to launch attack. Attacks lead to compromise of or security breaches, and vulnerability can be found in software, networks, and human. Now you have written, say, or the companies have written 10 million lines of code. LOC, right? Now, this 10 million lines of code would have written by over years, like 4 or 5 years, by thousands of people. Do you think it's a fully tested? Cost of testing of software is almost as much as cost of development of software. You know that, right? Okay, so testing is very expensive, and testing cannot be done fully because, in order to test fully a software, there will be billions of ways, you'll have to check it, right? Because these codes have been developed in multiple ways, and there is no particular sequence that will be followed always, because at each step there is a decision making. Okay, you have if then else and while do and all those kind of things, where, see, difference between simple calculator and computer is that computer we have algorithms where lot of decision making happens by computer based on data, as simple as that. So if certain condition, then, or while this condition, then do these things and so on, right? Now this is where your sequential execution changes to a different branch, and imagine that this happening at every step, or every, say, 50 lines of code or 30 lines of code, and you have million lines of code, then you have so many decisions that can happen. So can we go to all that possible states that system can be in and check all these states whether these states are valid states? No, that's not possible, right? Okay, so testing is never fully complete. That's one reason. And second is that, you know software is always extended. Initially there will be 1 million line of code, then 1.1. When we extend something, then we test only extended part, not the complete part. That could be second reason. Third reason is that software engineers, we cannot say, but in general nobody likes to hear that, many of them are totally incompetent. Okay, so there can be many sources of error in software. For now, we are still talking about security mindset, right? So Alice has this bicycle and she want to protect it, right? And she is going to cafeteria for coffee. She has a chain, so she will tie it like this. Now, does this show that Alice has security mindset? No, no, she doesn't. She has not thought that somebody can steal the bicycle and one only this wheel will remain. Okay, so if you are here, right, you'll have to think to what is to be done. Of course, you'll have to put a chain here. Okay, so at most then cyber criminal can steal a wheel. Okay, all right. Think about it. Okay, so basically any system will have number of states. Okay, some states are authorized states or secure states, some are non-secure states. Some are secure, some are non-secure. The whole that our attempt as a system engineer is to protect system from going from one state, secure state to non-secure state. That's all you have to do. Don't let system go to a non-secure state, then your job is done. Now I am talking only in terms of systems right now. Okay, and threat agent, adversary will try to move system into uh, non-safe state, right, non-secure state. All right, so now these are the definitions that you can go through by yourself, like risk, exposure, and control and countermeasures. Okay, there's another interesting quiz. What is your hacked stolen data worth in black market? Enter dollar amount. So you have a 3-digit security code on your credit card, right? We call it CVV. Okay, most of us don't remove it from credit card, right? Is it right? We also enter this number when we do transaction. So it can be stolen in multiple ways, right? So what is the cost of this? Credit card information like your credit card number, name, etc. Passport information. We simply attach passport as identity proof whenever we want. Okay, that information available in hotels or somewhere, right? And it can be leaked from there. Health information. Is there a value to this? Yeah, of course there is a value. 3-digit CVV can be sold between $5 to $50 depending on who you are. Okay, credit card information rate is usually between $10 to $100. Okay, passport information is very expensive. Your passport information can be as high as $1,000 or $2,000. So somebody steals your passport info and sells it into black market and can get as much as $1,000. Health information could be between $1 and $1,000. Okay, so don't. So another security mindset is that when your identity proof is asked for, okay, don't give all these important things like passport information or credit card. And the credit card, of course, you don't use. Passport information you shouldn't give. You shouldn't give Aadhaar. What can you give which is safest? Anyone? What is safest thing to do? Give as your identity proof. Okay, are you there?
Aadhaar card only, like.
Yeah, Aadhaar card, all your information is there, and authentication happens through that. It's not. It can be misused. Something which is very safe is, for example, your PAN card number. If they accept it as a identity proof, or even driving license, they can't do much with that. Of course, a lot of information can be lost because your address is there, your date of birth is there. You think through it. I'm just giving you some hints, right? So think through it. Think. Uh, Address and date of birth both are very important security parameters, right? And many places on when you log in, they ask for your date of birth. Okay, all right. So what is a truly secure system? Truly secure system is the one, and we are talking about computer system, which is totally switched off. Okay, and sealed in a room with armed guards. That's it, because it physically also it cannot be stolen. So apart from that, anything that's connected to internet can be hacked. And now everything is being connected to internet, like with IoT is coming in. So everything is becoming vulnerable. So there is no 100% safe system. Okay. All right. So we'll skip that. Please go through it. It's just for your information. These points we have already discussed, that security is very challenging because software is very poorly written. Okay, it has lot of holes. Lot of APIs are there which are not visible to a common user, but cyber criminals can find out those backdoors or APIs written by software engineers just to help them in testing or whatever. Okay. And because software is very complex, because hardware is very simple, right? Hardware is, you would have done architecture course, you will know that hardware is comparatively well designed. Software is not well designed. Two people will code software differently. Okay. So bugs remain in the system for years. Nobody is able to find out those bugs, and the cyber criminals are smart enough to find out those bugs and exploit that. Okay. All right. So please go through these points. Nothing. Okay. Nothing much. So how do people attack computer system? This we have already started. Spam, they can create a spam, they can deny a service. We'll study this called denial of service, infect user with virus, data theft, and for fun. Okay. All right. Denial of service is something that right? I mean, you deny a service, right? There is a server and you want to make it unavailable. Ask your millions of friends, or just write a software that will run at millions of machines or hundreds of machines and just do ping to this server, or send some message, and server has to respond back. It means that most of the time it will be busy responding to you, and for other genuine user it will deny the service. It cannot, because the term will not come, right, or the number will not come. So same is that if you somebody is going to bank, and if you want to deny the service to bank, take your 500 friends and they will stand in the queue, and then just go to clerk and then say hello, how are you, and then get away, right? By the time the person will reach, the time will be over. Okay, so these are called denial of service, right? So we have threat agent that can cause threat, and these threats happen because these threats can exploit vulnerability. And vulnerability, it means that there is some defect or something in system that can lead to risk, and this risk, if exploited, can damage the asset could be anything, and this can cause an exposure, and then can be, that exposure can be countermeasured, or we can do some kind of mechanism to protect from these kind of harms. Okay, so there is a complete cycle, and these safeguards are also known to threat agents, right? And they protect from, so there is a complete cycle that keeps happening all the time. Okay, so these points we will study in the next class. Okay, it is very difficult to create a fully secure system because very expensive and so on, right? And it uses the internet. What is the problem with internet? Why internet is not secure? So anything you connect to internet becomes insecure. Why is that?
Was anything can be accessed to our IP, and IP is very
Yeah, so basically you can, any, because only de facto protocol today is IP, and you can reach to any machine that is on IP. I mean, just send a packet with that IP destination, it will reach, and that machine has to respond. Okay, but the fact is that internet is not designed to be a secure network. It is designed as a flat pipe, like water hose. Okay, hose pipe. Whatever IP packet comes here goes out here. There's no check. Okay, when and you send it to even, for example, most important person in the country is prime minister, and IP address of prime minister, and then you send your packet, it will go. Nobody can check it, right? Nobody stop it. There's a protocol. Okay. Other thing is that you can post your source IP address, could be anything. Nobody checks that packet going from me is actually my packet. I can put anybody's IP address and then send packet to you. Okay. What does my IP packet contain as a payload? Payload is a part where it contains actual data, right? Otherwise, all else is header. So this can contain anything. It can contain bomb in terms of virus or whatever, right? Who's going to check that? So internet is most unprotected software because it's not designed for security. Okay, it was designed primarily for fault tolerance. So we'll study some of these points in the next class. Okay, any question? Oh, okay, I forgot to record. So recording is in progress. Okay, all right. Any question? Any feedback? Is it going slow?
Like, I want to ask one question.
Uh-huh.
Like, although IP is like treated to be the like unsafe